Hi everyone, Lisa here with IVF Manifesting a Miracle, and today I have a really special friend on. Her name is Krystianne, and she's joining me for a soul sister conversation. Hey Krystianne.
Hello.
You're all the way out in San Diego.
Yep.
San Diego. I used to live there. I lived there for 9 years, and thank you for joining me for this because you and I met in 2015, and I want to share a little bit of the story how we met. Honestly, like meeting you and all of the other girls through the book club was an incredible blessing. I was starting fertility treatments, and I have the book that you and I got to read.
Oh yes, I do too. It's right here.
So Play Big. You know what? Oh my gosh, you have it right there. That's awesome. And you know what's so cool? Like all the girls, we signed each other's books, reading your note, and like honestly, you're one of the sweetest people I know.
No.
Like immediately when I met you, you just have this aura about you that is so welcoming, so sweet, so just kind. And thank you for being the person you are, because, there's not enough people like you. And what I see in your posts through Instagram, and you've stepped into this kind of new role as this embodiment coach, this self-love and embodiment coach. And you aren't always in that role. Like you were a realtor, you've had other jobs. And like, even when I met you, I think you were in real estate. But gosh, so many juicy things I want to talk to you about, but like how awesome. Like we are both truly playing big in our lives.
Yeah.
And I want to share like who you are with the world and how you've stepped forward in playing big. Can you just share a little bit about yourself and like, I don't know, where would you like to begin?
Yeah. Well, let's see. So when we met in 2015, until now, so it's been 5 years, which is
5 years. I mean, your life has done like kind of a 180, I think. When I met you, you were married to somebody else.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And
had a small little real estate team in Denver, and was just really trying to like find community and sisterhood, and like just more depth. I have been on a spiritual journey since I was like, I would say like 22-ish. I found one of Eckhart Tolle's books and got a few yoga certifications and lived in Hawaii. So it was like all kind of like cultivating all of that. But at that time when I met you, it was just more so like, okay, like wake up, work out, work all day, and that's it. And just like do that over and over and over again. And real estate was pretty demanding. And so I just needed some sisterhood. And that was exactly what that was.
Wasn't it amazing? It was like, I'd never done a book club before. Had you done book clubs before?
No. And if I had, it obviously wasn't like that at all.
Can I share how powerful that experience was in Hold On Baby in my book? Because like that really catapulted so many things, like a sisterhood. And I know you say a sisterhood is medicine, like having that sisterhood. Yeah. What did it do for you, just being in that community?
Oh, just having the space to talk about real things and learn new stuff and new tools and to practice them with everybody and process it and just hold space for everyone. Yeah. It was absolutely beautiful. And the way that Shelly held the group was incredible.
I know. We had an amazing group of women, and we both kind of have really embodied those principles, of really just taking good care of ourselves, of recognizing like we have gifts to offer the world and shining our light and being courageous and bold. And like, I wasn't always like that, I think we evolve, we evolve and we grow. And like, can you share a little bit of your journey since then, since we were in that group together? You traveled, you've done a lot of different things.
Yeah. So then after that, I had done a lot more like soul searching. That was kind of like the, the beginning of like finding connection with myself again. So, so let's see. So for a couple of years, I was still in Denver, and then went through a divorce. Which was pretty rough, but it was necessary and needed. So that was the end of 2016, and basically I just realized that I was building a life that was just so not in alignment with my soul. Like it just wasn't. I was doing a lot of the things that were, for sure. Like, I mean, the thing that I loved the most about real estate was like making a difference in people's lives. Like that's literally like what my like one-liner was,
yeah.
And so like, that's why I stuck with it. And so there were a lot of aspects that were very, very true to who I am. but a lot of things I'm just like, this is so much this needs to fall away,
Yeah.
you know? And as I started becoming more authentic with myself and creating more and having more sisterhood and community and writing more, it was just really clear that that relationship was just not going to serve me anymore. And so we let that go, and then I started traveling. I worked with business partners who run my business for a few months while I handled the technicalities of the divorce. And then right when I was about to get back to work, I'm like, okay, so all right, it's the beginning of the year. It was January and 17. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back to work. And then I'm like, but I just want to like go on one more trip. I hadn't been abroad before. I mean, I'd went to Mexico and Turks and Caicos, but not abroad.
Were you with a friend or by yourself? I'm trying to remember.
By myself.
You did a solo trip abroad.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was
Not
awesome.
every woman would jump on board for that, but that's the person you are. You're like, I'm going. I love it.
I could just feel it again, like going back to that following the pull of your soul. Like it was just so apparent within me, and I kept trying to deny it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, maybe just like a mountain getaway would be fine. Like, what if I just went to the mountains? And I'm like, no, Krystianne, no. So I reached out to a couple of my friends that had traveled all over the world, and they were like, ooh, Ireland, definitely for you, Ireland. And I'm like, okay. So I looked into it. I found a ticket for 5 days from that date and booked it. And I remember waking up the next morning and I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I get like the travel insurance? Like I want to return the ticket. I can't do this. I'm so nervous. Oh I was just so nervous.
For 5 days, just a 5-day getaway?
Nope, it was going to be actually 8 days, but I booked it only 5 days sooner than when I was going to go.
Oh, okay.
Like prior. Yeah.
Okay.
So I just had gotten so nervous, and then I'm like, no, like I like kind of worked through it with one of my friends who she was like, I'm gonna give you my backpack and like all variety of different things for like backpacking in Ireland, and you'll be fine. I'm like, okay, and I'm again just starting getting familiar with like trusting what my intuition was saying, right? So once I felt that support, and then I could hold myself, and then I just went, and fascinated by that trip.
And can you share a little bit about just a quick little snippet? Because I think this is so powerful.
Yeah. So I had met a couple of people on that trip. What I was so fascinated by about that trip was that every person I met and everything I did led to the next person I met and the next thing I did. That all was just so integrated and beautiful.
It's always interconnected, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the very last night, I met somebody earlier in the trip that had asked he's like, let's go grab one drink before you leave. And I'm like, I can't, I'm leaving at like 3 a.m. Like, I don't need to. And he's like, no, seriously, one more drink. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'm not going to see you again probably. So, I went to this bar, and he didn't show up. And I was like, that's okay. Like, I'll just mingle with other people. No problem. And went to the next place. So it was like a little pub crawl. And I went to the next bar, and he actually still didn't show up. And I, at this point, was like, it's fine. I mean, he was a super, like, just chill dude. He probably had just forgotten. And so I kept talking with some friends, and finally I was like, okay, I should probably get going. And I'm walking out the door, and on my left-hand side, I see Michael, my husband. And I was like, I'm going to go hit on him.
I love it.
So I just walked straight up to him and introduced myself. And it wasn't even necessarily like this like instant connection or this like butterflies and fairy tales. It was just literally like he was so strong and steady and clear. Like his energy was just clear and pure. And I was like very attracted to that. Also that like, I just wanted to, I've lived a lot of life, and I'm like, I know what I want, and I'm leaving in like 4 hours. And so like, why not? Why would I not go approach you? Like, we don't have to.
What do you have to lose? He could say no. He could just whatever, and you have nothing to lose. Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm like, whatever, it's all good.
So he started.
What is meant to be mine will be mine. So I just we really connected, and then I was like, I just really want to go back to your hostel, and I was like, and let's be clear, not to have sex. I just want to be with you, like just lie with you,
Aww.
And oh my gosh, when we did, he felt like home.
Oh my gosh, that's the sweetest story.
Like, I'm like, I love you.
And did you stay longer on your trip? You stayed?
Nope.
Oh, you came home.
I did. So we just had like a few hours together, and then at the airport, I'm like, God, I like him. Shit. Why going to do about this? I live in Colorado and he's stationed in Bahrain in the Middle East. And so I was like, oh no. But ultimately I had been invited back to go to Rome because I met someone my first day there whose dad was the Archbishop of the Anglican Church in the city center of Rome. Wow. And she was like, do you want to come stay with me in his palace? And I'm like, in a couple weeks. And I was like, yes, yes, absolutely. So I went back, went to London, then met her in Rome. And when I was in London though, Michael had sent me information because we'd been talking the whole time. And he was like, why don't you come visit me? And I was like, can we meet somewhere? Like, I don't know if I want to come there, you know?
Yeah.
And ultimately it just was, he didn't have time off to take. So I booked the ticket. And that night when I tucked myself into bed, I was like, I'm going to marry him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long have you been married now? That was
3 years in December.
Yeah. I got to meet him when I was out in San Diego.
Yes, you did. I loved that.
You guys are so cute. Thank you for sharing all that. And I think there's so many powerful lessons in like what you just shared. I mean, one of them is trusting yourself. You completely just trusted your instincts. You trusted, I need to go up to that guy. You know, you honored those feelings. You honored that I'm going to be bold, unapologetic, and you're that way now. You know, you're that way. These are skills that you're embodying and you're helping others. You're teaching others these skills too. Yeah. So many of the women that I serve, you know, that's a message that I strive to get across as well, is like putting faith and trust in the unseen, the unknown, just the journey, that it all really does evolve and happen the way it's meant to. I mean, how beautiful. Your story is so beautiful. It's amazing.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Well, I mean, honestly, it's like women like you who, like, you got just at the beginning, and you still, you know, you have that support that helps you through difficult times, and creating safe space. And sisterhood is, as you know, such an important thing to embrace. When you have good sisters in your life, you got to hold on to them.
Yeah.
As far as like, one thing I love about you is like it relates to, you know, you're traveling to Europe and everything, but playing by your own rules. Like, can you share some reflections on what you see? Do you see women kind of hiding, shining their light, not opening themselves up fully, withdrawing? I mean, just kind of, I love the idea of we set our own rules, we play by our own rules. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, of course it's scary. And like, I think our natural instinct is to be like, oh, I can't post that, or like, I can't be seen in that way, or I shouldn't say that, or,
right.
You know, but that's not how we're meant to live.
Yeah.
You know, like we feel the pull to do those things, to express ourselves in all the ways that we feel pulled to, for a reason. That's literally our light being like, can I please shine?
It's like calling for us. It's craving that space to like be unleashed. Don't you think? I mean, the more we hold it in, it's like we're hurting ourselves. Totally. And we're dimming our light to help to appease others. Like, that doesn't resonate for me at all. You know, I've just really appreciated, you know, evolving, and now I'm in my early 40s, and, you know, every year it gets better and better, right? And it's just kind of really stepping forward and like doing those things that light us up, that call us, and using our voice. Like, we're powerful women, I think, more than ever, right? I mean, women
we all have so many nuggets of wisdom and codes and downloads that we've received throughout our lives, and we're doing everyone a disservice, and especially ourselves, by not sharing, you know?
Exactly. And I think too, it's like you're freeing yourself, you know. You give your space. You did a post. I wanted to pull it up and share it because it was so beautiful. It was on August 26th, if you're okay with me sharing a little bit of that. But your title of it was Fully Surrender, Dive All the Way In. And then I'm just going to read it. To your pleasure, to what ignites you, to the beautiful knowingness of your own heart, to your body, your belly, to your sacred womb space. That will resonate with a lot of ladies that hopefully are listening. To the deep surrender into trusting your own soul. You chose to come here at this time. You chose to love. You chose to feel. You chose to be here. Explore, dance, play with that, know that, create from that space. I love you, and I'm here for it too. That's so cute. I love it. Juicy, like juiciness. I love it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Tell me like how you're feeling when you posted that, like just
Mm.
surrendering.
Yeah, just feeling the energy of leaning back like into it instead of like launching forward and like what do I need to do or create or be, or it's like no, just as women we are meant to surrender. Like we're in our power when we are surrendered. We are relaxed. Our womb is
Yes.
open and you can
Yes.
literally feel your womb open when you choose to surrender. Like even that word, and it's not a passive thing, it's actually an active, like a choice. Like
It
nope,
is
it's
choice.
almost a boundary in a way. Like it's like this is my container and within that I am relaxed. um,
Completely. The power in the letting go. And I speak so much of that in my writing. I just believe less doing, less forcing, more allowing, and more stepping back, surrendering. And that's when the magic happens. That's when those sparks happen, you know?
yeah, and like when we're in that space of like forcing and doing, that's our masculine,
Yeah.
a little bit over. I feel like that's actually our feminine out of balance, you know
Oh, yeah.
um yeah, like
I
the
just
hurried forcing, pushing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just had a coaching call. I was sharing a clip with some of the ladies that wanted to hear like a little bit of my coaching. Some of them reached out, and anyway, I shared just about that fact of the masculine energy and the feminine energy, the less doing and more. And I shared more being. That's the feminine,
Hmm.
really being. Like we are innately these sensual bodies and
Yes.
facing that. And you do such a good job. Like I just love what you share through Instagram and just your posts. Like you inspire me. Like I'm like, I need to do more self like
Oh,
love,
yeah.
like touching and just
Yeah,
dance and release. Like I do some of it, but not enough, you know. I think, is that like a daily practice for you?
totally.
Yeah.
Every morning. Yep. And
It's,
also throughout the days, like, I post my bathroom dance videos all the time.
I
um,
love it.
but yeah, I have a sacred morning ritual that I've had for a while, and it's adjusted throughout my life. I remember it used to entail like 2.5 hours of yoga. Literally, I used to wake up at 4:15, 4:14, 4:15
For
every morning. Yeah. Oh my
I'm
god.
done.
Yeah. And
That's
do yoga and breath work and chanting for 2.5 hours. And then it's evolved. And then I've always had like writing and stuff like that. But I've just gotten so much out of like embodiment practices. So breath work and dancing and touching my body and self pleasure and breast massage. And yeah.
Those are great. Those are really good suggestions. Another one I saw recently on one of your posts was you do spontaneous. I love how you call them spontaneous soul scribbles.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I want to share, like, use that. I like that term, spontaneous, and just like free flow drawing, you know?
Yes. No goal in mind. I always say that like it's like when I like teach it, I say like turn your left brain off, like consciously just like get out of there
Yeah.
and focus like all in right brain and just let the pen go and see what happens. And then I do it in sometimes circles. The way I do it is a little different, but this was inspired from Whitney Freya, one of my
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
creative coaches. Yeah. Yeah. And so doing it in a circle is so cool because by the time you get yours back, there's like little messages in it and you're like, oh my gosh, like what is this saying to me? So cool. And then, but when I do it on my own, I just feel like a lot of words, a lot of like my soul, it just literally allows my soul to speak, like what is true. And it's like, oh, and it's like, it is true. It comes out so real.
I love that. So do you do marker typically?
Yes.
Marker. And then the words kind of come to you. I had a similar experience when during our book club time, maybe it was right after book club, I did Shannon's Art Smash program.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And I wrote about that in my book because it was so powerful, the power of creativity and art. And when you step into the creative space, like it's just, that's such a wonderful place to play and be. And especially when you're trying to create and you want to have a baby, and going through IVF is such a medical process. Like you want to step into that creative, expressive place. And that I found so much freedom and enjoyment. And I have some cool artwork that I loved creating from that, and magic. And just like you said, the messages come through, you know, enjoying the journey, the magic that unfolds through all that. So anyone listening, highly encourage you
Totally.
to do some creative art, play, the soul scribbles. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Our creativity, like if we think about it too, like from a chakra perspective, that's all in our womb. So, and
Mm-hmm.
as you know, as women and women that are
Yes.
trying to conceive, it's like to spend as much healing energy in there and like in that space from in creating and pleasure is so
Right.
important.
Yeah, I'm such a believer in all these holistic practices that oftentimes I think get overlooked, when you're,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yes,
you get,
totally. Like
you
you
get,
said,
you get
because
in your
it's so
head when
medical.
you're trying to create. And if you haven't luckily experienced the whole fertility IVF cycle or any of those challenges, but for many women, it just feels like you're all consumed by so many things that feel out of your control. But like one thing you can do to pull that control back is to create
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
and have fun, be playful. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
um, so tomorrow is a new moon, I think, right?
Yes.
Um, I'm actually going to be meeting up with our friend Shay. I don't remember Shay Lynn, but she and I are getting together tomorrow
Oh, cool.
with our two little girls. And
Oh.
you, we were talking about like new moon rituals and things like that. Do you have any kind of new moon rituals that you?
Yeah, the only thing I do, it's really simple. I just write new moon intentions. So every day I write my intention. And so this is just more of like, basically I say daily is like a little bit like more microscopic. And then this is a little more macroscopic for the new moon. So I'll be like, all right, 10 new intentions that I want to manifest. And that can be for the next year or like the next month or whatever
Okay,
comes through.
you do about 10?
Yeah. Yep.
And it's every
And I
moon?
make it just
Every new moon you do that?
every new moon. Yeah.
Every new
I
moon.
try to. I mean, not all the time, but yeah, in general, that's my intention, and that's like it's at least running through my head, even if they're not written down. And then I always like to spend time outside. I just love the moon.
I do too. I do too. There's
Yeah.
power. There's my husband jokes I've shared with people. He reminds me, he's like, go charge, don't forget to go charge your rocks.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to pull him into the like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
spiritual realm type stuff that I do. But yeah, no, I mean, this is one of my little crystals. I've shared this recently. It was a powerful symbol for me during our fertility journey. It was given to me, a labradorite stone.
Ooh.
And yeah, the moon has healing energy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. You can feel it.
I'm a believer in that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, what other things do I want to ask you?
Mm-hmm.
With this time with COVID right now, like any reflections on, have you been enjoying kind of this time?
Mm-hmm.
Me
Very
too.
much. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there's such a gift in going deeper into ourselves and like getting the time to like really discover more of who we are. And how's it been for you?
Totally feel you on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it pushed us all. I mean, we all were forced to come in and be at home and be with ourselves, and like there were really no more distractions, and so all the things that we could like keep busy with and distract ourselves with were like gone, and now we just had to be with ourselves. And I just think that there was so much healing power in that for me,
Cool.
for sure. And I just collectively, and it made me, I think one of my like favorite like takeaways that I've realized is just like how sacred my space is. um,
Yeah.
because I'm all of a sudden here I am. I'm always in this space, and I
Yeah.
was like, and what does my space mean? Like, it's everything. It's what I'm wearing. It's what I choose to like put on my body. It's what I choose to be. All the things. And then of course the people that I allow in, and so just really deciding to like set some boundaries and yeah.
No, it's powerful. And it hasn't really changed from before. Like, I think you've carried those practices, but it's even more like amplified. Like, you recognize the importance of our
Yes.
sacred space and rituals, self-care practices even more, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think in the past, again, like when there were distractions were all there, I wasn't even sure what what I needed to eliminate or change or, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden there was no distractions anymore. I was like, oh, it just became so clear. Like the
Right.
veil was lifted.
Like the old fades away,
Yeah.
right? The things that
Yeah.
don't fit with us, right?
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And now as a self-care, self-love embodiment coach, like, is this kind of the new direction your work is now focused on helping others embody
Yes.
self-love?
Yeah. 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 Yep, I pretty much just want to hold a container, because the thing is it's always going to be different with every person depending on what they need. So it's like not necessarily a program, although I do intend to create some online courses and maybe
Yeah.
like a couple ebooks and whatever, some different
Yeah.
workshops and things like that.
Yeah.
But in my one-on-one containers, I just want to hold space to be with women to, like, whatever the divine needs me to do, we will do. And
Mhm.
yeah. But my first workshop that I'm going to do will be the beginning of October, and it's going to be on creating a sacred morning practice,
I love
um, a customized one based on what that person like loves, what ignites their soul, like
that.
what do you like need to feel alive, and then infusing that into your day.
Completely. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And people can reach you best by Instagram, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And do you want to share your Instagram handle?
Yeah. So it's my first and middle name. So it's Krystianne Nicole. Yeah. That's it.
And yeah, I'll share our link after, in
Okay.
the video, I'll share the link to your page and everything. But
Cool.
I just love you. And I'm
I
so
love you too.
excited that we got to do this Soul Sister chat. And I'm so
Yeah.
grateful that that I have your friendship and,
Me too.
support each other in our personal growth.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. It's just so fun to think back on in 2015 where we were at, right? And like the conversations we were having and like
I
the
know.
dreams we had. And then now it's like 5 years later, like literally 5 years later,
I know.
we're living a lot of those dreams.
Yeah, it's incredible. Well,
Mm-hmm.
virtual hug.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. And for anyone that would like personalized support on their fertility journey, I'm here for you. I provide one-on-one personal support, and I can be reached at ivfmanifestingamiracle.com. And my book, Hold On Baby, is on Amazon. And Krystianne gets a shout out in the book at the end. All my soul sisters from book club are definitely in there. And so definitely check it out. And thanks so much, Krystianne.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Mwah. See you soon.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.